Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be starting a brand new vlog. This one is going to be another TBR vlog. Now, for the sake of transparency, the books that I am picking for this vlog are shorter. They're like maybe 7 to 10 hours because I am trying to get my physical TBR down. So I chose books for this TBR to be much shorter. I'm looking to do like 5 books in this TBR vlog, where I usually do like 2, maybe 3, because they're a little bit shorter so that I can like get through several. Off the top of my head, I have 2 picked out. One is An Unkindness of Magicians. This one we are following this girl Sydney, and she's living in this city, and it's described as a fantasy thriller. So that's really interesting. And she lives in a world where there's magic, but the magic is dying, and there's some sort of like darkness taking over the city. And Kat is the only one who knows what's happening and why it's happening and can probably help fix it, except she wants to destroy it. She does not want to help the magic come back for whatever reason. She wants everything to be destroyed. So I think that's going to be really interesting. This one has been on my TBR for years. I'm talking probably like 5 or 6 years. I first heard this one from Murphy Napier when I first started following her in like 2019, maybe 2020 at most. Anywhere from like, I don't know, 2017 to 2020 is when I started following her. So that's how long this book has been on my list, because she loved this book and I had never heard of it. And so I've had it that long and I've not read it. So now's the time. Hopefully I love it. I'm not sure. I don't know that I've ever read a fantasy thriller, but I've definitely been getting into more thrillers in the last year. So definitely a good chance. The other one is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. This one is his young adult series. I don't know how I'm going to do with young adult, but I might be okay where it is Joe Abercrombie. But we're following this dude, Yari, something like that. And he is a king, or wanting to be a king. Maybe he's a prince getting ready to be a king. And he has some sort of amputation. I think his arm is missing. I think he's missing an arm. So he's definitely feeling a lot of lack of value, lack of worthiness of being a king. And, everyone else is probably telling him those things. So I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start one or the other. I don't know which one I'm going to start with at this point. But it's going to be one of those two, because I've already borrowed them from Hoopla. And I have 2 other books. I've got one that I'm like more than halfway through. I think I only have like 5 hours, 6 hours left of the audiobook. And then the other one is a 7-hour audiobook. So it's very short. And those are the only 2 that I'm currently listening to. So I'll probably get this one started probably in the next couple of days. I don't know which one. So we will both be surprised. But welcome to the vlog. Okay, so I'm like 33% through of Unkindness of Magicians. And this is the exact kind of book that I absolutely love. I don't know that I've given you a synopsis up to this point, so let me give you a good synopsis and I'll talk about all the things that I'm really liking. So we're following a lot of different perspectives. It is a magician's contest. So every so often they have what's called a turning. And what that means is that they compete for the top spot. And whoever gets the top spot gets to like run the unseen world, which is like their magician's world, right? Well, they can either use someone within the family, or they can use somebody else in like a champion sort of thing. They have houses, so like your family name has a house, but like you have to be like worth something in order to have your own house. And so you'll have magicians who are like outsiders, or they don't have their own house, or they've been kicked out of their house, so they're going to try and form a name for themselves, so they join the turning in order to get status, basically. And with these magicians, like the magic really affects their body, so like they'll shake, or they'll get really sick or whatever if they use too much magic. And so they duel with their magic. And the way that it works in these early duels is that it's not mortal. So it's basically just a test of your magic, your creativity, and your strength in your magic. And you either win or you lose. And if you lose too many contests, then you're out of the tournament. And it is so interesting watching them duel and how like creative they can get with the different prompts. And it's been a lot of fun. Like I really like it. We're following a lot of different characters. We're following Miranda, who is like a head of household. We're following Sydney mostly. And she is an outsider and she is a champion for this dude who's trying to like make a name for himself. And then we're following his friend Gray, who is been kicked out of his house, and so he's trying to make a name for himself. And it's just so interesting. Meanwhile, we have this mortal. I think her name was Harper, and she is trying to figure out who killed her friend. Her friend was brutally murdered, and so she is trying to figure out which magician killed her because she knows it was a magician because she watched him like step through a portal, which shouldn't be possible. Like they shouldn't be able, like the mortals shouldn't be able to see you do magic. And like if you put the unseen world at risk, then like you could be kicked out of the tournament and kicked out of the unseen world. Like it's a big deal to be seen like that. But it's been really interesting. I'm really excited to see like where it goes. It's really short. It's like 8 hours, maybe like 8.5 hours. And I'm like 4 hours in, maybe a little under. But it's been a great time. I love seeing magic in this way and I love seeing it like take a toll on people. I feel like magic should have a consequence, you know, and I hate when it's just like, oh, we can just do however much magic we want. You know, I hate that. But I really like the idea of people having to sort of earn their place every so often. And so like your big houses, they have to like re-earn that. And so that's pretty cool. I don't know where it's gonna go as far as everything because we also have another storyline of like the magic is like dying. Like Sydney was at some sort of statue or whatever, and she could feel like this black hole, like absorbing magic and like taking it away. And so she's real freaked out by that and she's trying to figure out what's happening with the magic. And she's also trying to like um take everything down. Like she is trying to dismantle the unseen world in some sort of way, maybe like just the shadow world, the shadow house of shadows, that's what it's called. Because she was a slave there. So I'm really interested in that too, because we have the House of Shadows where you're like contracted and you're basically a slave to them for X amount of years. And apparently it's really hard to like get out of that. And Sydney and one other person ever has been able to get out of their contracts. So I'm really interested to see like what it was that got her there and under contract and how she was able to get out. So I think it's really cool. So I'm having a really great time with this. Kind of sad it's only one book because it's been a lot of fun. I'm really sad that I've slept on this so long, but can't do nothing about it now. But I will probably update you again when I finish just because it is so short. All right, guys, we have a lot of updates because I went to the boyfriend's this weekend, so I had a lot of reading time. So I ended up finishing Unkindness of Magicians and I started Half a King, DNF'd Half a King, and then started Empire of Vampire. So lots to talk about. So Unkindness of Magicians, that was great. The only complaint I have about it is that it was so short and I just wanted more. It's only like almost a 9-hour audiobook, so it was very, very short and I just wanted more. So we kind of like got through things a little bit quickly, so that was a bit annoying because I wanted to slow down and like really like dig deeper into the characters and dig deeper into how these things affected everybody because there was so much happening and so many things that like would truly affect people, but we didn't really get to see a lot of that because of the fact that we were moving pretty quickly. But I really enjoyed this. I definitely slept on this book. This one is definitely one that I think more people need to read. And I don't know if people have because this came out forever ago. And it's been on my TBR for like 5 years at least, if not more. So I don't know if this was popular way back when and I'm just now hopping on the train. I have no idea. But this was definitely really good. I really love the plot. I really love the bits of the character dynamics that we did get, and I really liked their interactions, and I like how it ended. I just wanted more. So definitely worth it. Definitely a quick read. It's really fast paced. It's a musicians tournament, so they're battling each other.
And we've got some like political things happening because they create alliances with different houses. Oh, it was really good. I really love this. So yeah, I really love this. Now, Half a King. This one is by Joe Abercrombie, and I love his First Law series, love his Age of Madness series. That world is fantastic. This one is his young adult book where we are following Yavi, I think is his name. I think so. That's what it is. This one, we're following a kid who I think is like a teenager, maybe like a young adult, and he is disabled. He is missing a hand, right? Well, we get him in the story where his dad dies and his brother dies. And so now he is the heir. And so now he becomes a king, right? And we're following his journey as he's dealing with that. My complaint is that I don't like how it reads. Yes, it is young adult, but there's no emotion in it. Like, this dude literally lost his dad and his brother all in the same go. And now he's thrust into this kingdom that he didn't want to have, wasn't planned to have, and isn't prepared to have. And I don't know how he feels about it. You're getting ready to marry this girl who was supposed to marry your brother, and I don't know how you feel about it. And I think that that's the problem. Is there's not enough emotion written into the story. And yeah, it's an adult, but like you would expect it to have more emotion. Like teenagers are more emotional than adults and those kinds of things. And so that bothers me because like the emotion is where we connect with the characters. And I'm an hour into this audiobook and I don't care, you know? And so I don't know if I'm just too distracted while listening to it and I already like checked out. So that's why I'm not reading into any emotion. I don't know. Very possible. But at this point, I'm gonna DNF it because I just don't care. And I really want to like get to other stuff. So that's what I'm doing. So then today I downloaded Empire of Vampire. This one I don't know a ton about. I just know that we're following this vampire hunter, I think, in a world full of vampires. There's no more daylight, it's all night, and we're following this dude, Gabriel. He's gonna slay some vampires. That's it. I don't even know if that's accurate. I do know this is a really popular book. Everyone seems to love this. I don't know that I've met anyone or like watched anyone who has DNF'd it or like not really enjoyed it. So definitely looking forward to this read. It's a 30-hour audiobook though. I mean, almost. It's like 27. So close enough, right? So this one's going to take me a minute, but I'm definitely looking forward to this. This was definitely a quarter TBR read and it's a priority read, I'm pretty sure. So definitely killing a couple birds with one stone by going ahead and getting this read. So definitely looking forward to this. I need like a good fantasy book. Like I'm just in the mood for like really good fantasy. Right now, my fantasy like itch is being scratched from Fourth Wing, and that's romantasy. So I just need something like dark and gritty that's not a thriller. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm reading Empire of the Vampire, right? And I'm like 7 hours into it, and it's not what I expected. Okay. I expected a regular story, like we follow them along as they go on their journey, whatever. No, we're getting a story where we have this dude, Gabriel, and from my understanding, he is talking to what they call a cold blood, which is a vampire, and he's talking to him, and the dude is like a historian, and he is jotting down all of Gabriel's story and like all of his story, like from the time he was a child until he gets older, becomes Silver Saint, yada yada, right? I did not know that the whole story was him retelling his entire life story. I didn't know that. I don't remember anyone talking about that being the story. So if you did not know, that is the story. We is telling his life story, and he's not even telling it in order, which the cold blood dude, he like called him out on it because like we got part of the story where he was a child, and then we got he was like 15, and then we jumped, and he'd been like this important thing had happened like the last couple of years, and the cold blood's like,
how did we get here? I need you to go back. I need to know the story. So it's kind of entertaining in that regard because the guy who is like jotting everything down is asking the questions of like what we would be asking. It is a little bit interesting because the fact that the cold blood is asking questions that he should know the answer to, but he's asking them for the explanation for the story for us, like he's the reason we get the exposition type thing, which is fine, especially because Gabriel like calls him out on it and he's like, dude, you already know these things. You don't need me to answer this. And he's like, just do it. So, basically, um, I don't understand all of like the nuances of the magic system and things and how everything's working. I don't understand all of the history, but then again, I'm only like 7 hours in. But I am pretty intrigued so far. Not as much as I would like to be. I was super interested like early on when he was a kid, and then we sort of like hit him in his like midlife crisis sort of thing. That's what I'm calling it. It wasn't technically, but that's what I'm calling it. And then I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care anymore. But so I'm back caring again. So we jump back to when he's a kid and like growing up a little bit more. So yeah, but basically what happened is Gabriel, I don't know why he's talking to the cold blood anyways. I guess it's coming. But so he's talking to the cold blood. I think he's like up for execution or something. I don't know. But anyways, so he's a kid and he's got a really terrible home life. Like his dad is just very abusive to him. Well then Gabriel is like having his first love experiences and gets a little aggressive with his mouth and his teeth, and learns that he is a silver saint. And so, because of that, he goes and he lives with these guys that are going to teach him how to be a silver saint, which is cool. I love like that kind of thing. And I love that there are more pieces to the magic where you could be like part, what was it, part wolf, or you could have like compulsions or something, or you could talk to animals, something like that. And we get like those pieces of the magic and like you get extra abilities. I think that that's really cool. And I think like the trial thing is really cool. And I really like the dudes that he is learning from, like his mentors. I think they're really interesting. And I'm really interested in this little girl that he meets when he's younger. I mean, I say younger, but he's like 15. Um, I just don't really care a ton about the vampires themselves. Like that's the part that I really like tune out with, is because I just not a huge fan of vampires. I don't know why. I was during like the whole Twilight craze, but after that, I don't really care anymore. But yeah, I just don't really care about it. Even when they're like fighting them, I don't really care. So I don't know. I think that that's a me problem because everyone loves this book, so it's definitely probably not a book problem. It's definitely a me problem. It's interesting, and I want to at least finish this book so far. That's where I'm at. And usually, if I didn't like it, I would have been DNFing it by now. Like I would have already like checked out. But I'm actually pretty interested. I think part of what hurts me is that I'm also working on reading Wind and Truth, and I only get 2 weeks with that book, and then after that, it's going to take me like a couple months before I can get it back. So I've been prioritizing Wind and Truth to kind of get through it pretty quick, but I'm down to like 8 days left of having what is it called? Empire of the Vampire, right? So now I need to start prioritizing it. But I think the problem was I was only listening to like an hour of it at a time. And so I think maybe because I was getting pulled out of the story so quickly that hurt my ability to enjoy it. So now I'm doing 2 hours at a time and I just started. So I don't know if it's like fixed anything yet, but it's very possible that that fixes a lot of my engagement in the story. So here's hoping for that. After that, I have one last book in mind, and then we will close out this vlog. So, working on coming to the end of it. I do like that the writing in Empire of Empire is pretty like easy to understand. The characters are compelling enough. I do find it funny when I was listening to people rave about this book early on, especially like Mike's book reviews. He was talking about how Jay Kristoff comes up with all kinds of like really interesting combinations for his cuss words, and they definitely stand out. Like, there are definitely combinations in here that I've never even heard of and never even would have like considered. So yeah, Mike was definitely correct that Jay Kristoff really likes his weird combinations of cuss words. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. So I'll probably update you again when I'm a little over halfway, probably. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so definitely been back and forth with Empire the Vampire. I think I have less than 10 hours left. Sorry if you can hear a lot of background noise. They're having a lot of fun over here in this other office. So sorry if you can hear. But Vampire, Empire the Vampire. I'm liking the adult perspective more than I was previously. So the way that the story is structured, we're following him as a teenager, and then we'll follow that for a little while, and then we'll switch and we'll follow him as an adult. And I wasn't enjoying the adult perspective very much, but we took a turn, man, and I'm really liking this adult perspective so much more. And I'm not entirely sure why. I think I just like the adventure a little bit more. Definitely don't care when we have any kind of battle. Any kind of battle. I don't care. But I am really interested in like the lore and the magic system in this thing and like what is happening to Gabriel and to the people around him and the vampires and how they came about. Like I'm interested in that piece of it, not so much the battles, which is I don't know, it's fine. It's different for me. I really love the battles usually, but it's fine. Definitely enjoying a lot more of the one-liners and the humor and the interactions. I really like watching Gabriel grow up. I really enjoy when he's a teenager and he's like learning about all these things. I think maybe I like that part the most because we're learning things along with him because he doesn't know anything and so he's being taught and so we're being taught along with him. So I feel a little bit more like we're in the loop, you know? So I think that that's a big part of that. Um, I do like a lot of the lore from when he's an adult and like him going on this new journey that he's on and some of the things that are unfolding there. I do like those things. I am getting a bit annoyed with like the present day narrative because I feel like it's interrupting too much and it takes away. Like so Gabriel the whole book is Gabriel telling his story to this vampire, right? Well, we're constantly stopping and coming back to that present moment. And the vampire's like interrupting and asking questions and saying stuff. And then Gabriel's like, are you gonna let me tell the story? I'm thinking the same thing, Gabriel. Like, can we just shut up and just like tell the story? Like, you're not gonna interrupt that much for like those kinds of things that he's asking. Like, it just seems too much. And I don't know if that's just me not being super used to that kind of storytelling. The only other book that I've read that I think had that similar storytelling was Jenna Lyons book. I don't remember what the book was called. It's the I don't remember what it's called. So I don't know. Can't help you. I may if I remember I'll put a picture up on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. But it's Jenny Lyons and that's the only one I remember ever having like that sort of storytelling. I know that what is it called? Name of the Wind. Yeah, Name of the Wind. I think it's told in a similar manner. I never read it. So I don't know if it's just that that's annoying me or if it's just pulling me out of the story too much. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like that vampire. I don't know. But that's right now that's my only complaint about it. So not doing too bad. But I think I only have till Monday. Today's Thursday. I only have until Monday to finish this book. And I have like 9 hours left, I think. So I'm trying to like book it through it so I can finish it because I definitely don't want to re-borrow it. So, but I also don't want to DNF it. Like, it's one of those that's kind of like teetering on the line of like I don't really care, but like I'm enjoying it well enough. Like, it's definitely not wouldn't be like a 4 star for me. It'd definitely be like a 3 at this point. So I'm really hoping the end will really come through because like everything's kind of like building to a point. So I don't know. Definitely interested to see where it's gonna go. Hey guys, so I am starting Sticks and Stones. This will be the last book for this vlog. This one is like an 8 hour audiobook or something. It's super short, it's a little romance. I don't know exactly if it's gonna be like a dark romance, if it's gonna be a like a rom-com sort of thing. I don't know exactly because I bought this book ages ago, probably a couple years ago, and I haven't read the blurb or anything in a really long time. All I know is that it is a romance. It's all that I know going in. So I don't not entirely sure, but I did start it. So I am a couple of chapters into it. I think I've listened to it's dual perspective. I think I listened to each of the perspectives twice. So I haven't gotten very far into it. All I know so far is we're following this girl Ren, and she is a kid who has grown up in a really rough household. She's been taken out of her dad's house a couple of times, and we start the story where she's in high school and she is convinced by her dad to sell these drugs to this kid, and so she has a drug at school. Well, then they end up doing a drug search at school, and so she finds out about this drug search and she takes the drugs and she hides them on someone else's vehicle so that they'll get caught. The other perspective that we're following is Stone, and Stone is best friends with Ren's foster brother. So she's been around him a lot. She knows him really well, that kind of stuff. So Stone is a hockey player who has big ambitions of going to the NHL. He gets caught with these drugs on his truck. Well, then he gets in trouble, and so all those things. So we get a small clip of them in high school, right? Well, then we fast forward, I guess, a couple of years, and Ren was broken up with by her boyfriend. He was cheating on her, so she ends up going to stay with her foster brother, Evan, and or Evan, I don't know, something like that. And so she goes and she stays with him. Well, she doesn't know that Stone had already been planning on transferring colleges and living with his friend. So Ren is already like posted up in this bedroom, and Ren comes home and Stone is there. And Stone is like, we're going to share a bedroom. Like, this is stupid. And he tells her, though, because he got so mad at her when he found out that she had put the drugs on his truck because he knew it was her. And he says, hey, roomie, welcome to hell. That's such a great line. So, from the little bit that I've seen so far, what it looks like is we're going to have some sort of enemies to lover situation where he's just going to give her hell and she's going to give it right back. The little clips that we got when they were in high school, they would banter back and forth and they would tease each other. And so they kind of went back and forth already. So I imagine they're going to give each other hell throughout this whole thing. And then I'm so excited to see how they come back from this because she was like this close to ruining his entire career. His dad drug tested him. His dad's a big hotshot defense attorney. His dad drug tested him every week for over a year because of these drugs that were found on his truck. So it was a whole thing. And I don't know yet if he had any consequences with college hockey or anything because of that. But I'm really interested to see how they come back from that. I mean, I think that it is one of those things where you could probably come back from that and, become lovers. But I don't know. I think it depends on how they play it. But I'm already invested. Also, word to the wise, okay? I listen to everything on audio. And when I go to Audible, Audible automatically puts it at like 1x, like that's the speed. And so I'm sitting here listening to this story and I'm like, I don't like the narration. It's very slow and monotone and just boring. I realized it was really slow. So I sped it up a little bit and I was like, much better. So if you're having that same problem, maybe your speed's a little too slow for the narration. It's because that helped me. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to having it at 1.7 or what, but it definitely made all of the difference. I was really close to DNFing and it saved it to speed it up. So maybe we should try that. But yeah, I think that's it for now. I will keep posted. Okay, so listen, I have done a really poor job of updating on all of my vlogs. So I don't even know where I last left off with Sticks and Stones, but I finished it. And it was fine. I I don't know. I don't even know if I've given you a synopsis. So let me give you the synopsis to make sure that you know what I'm talking about. So we're following this girl, Ren. I think that was her name. Yeah. And we called her Sticks most of the time. And what was his name? Stone. And he is a hockey player and he's friends with Ren's foster brother. Ren would go back and forth between her foster brother's house and her own home because her dad is an addict and deals meth and things like that. So her living situation wasn't the greatest. So she would go back and forth. So what ends up happening is Ren puts drugs on Stone's truck and he gets in trouble and a lot of things happen because of that, and like he knows immediately that it was her. And so he threatens her, says, "Never speak to me again, don't even look in my direction, do not be around me." And fast forward a couple of years, he is moving into his the hockey house at college. And she's already moved in. Like she just moved in a couple of days ago because she broke up with her boyfriend and they have to share the same room. Why they have to share the same room, I don't know. There are like 5 other dudes in this house. So why is he not sharing with one of the other dudes? I don't know. I guess because story, right? So that was one thing that I like noticed. And then they end up like giving each other hell over living together and they move each other's stuff or they do stuff that um, embarrasses the other person or annoys the other person, things like that. And so they just kind of go back and forth. So it's like very enemies to lovers sort of story. We also have the added layer of her dad being currently in jail, and she was part of why he went to jail, and he's trying to find her. And so she's in a position where she ends up having um, their home broken into and her stuff searched, and things like that. And Stone like recruits the guys in the home to like be a bodyguard and stuff like that. And so it just kind of goes back and forth where they're dealing with their dynamic, but they're also dealing with the fact that her dad is actually really dangerous and she's actually really scared for her life. And it was fine. It wasn't the greatest thing. It just kept going back and forth between like he called her sticks all the time, like a lot, which I guess that's fine because that's her nickname or whatever. But I don't know, it just felt really forced. A couple of things like why he didn't run with the boys sort of pulled me out of it a little bit. You know, it was fine. It was a decent little romance. I thought it was gonna be like a dark romance, but it wasn't. Not really. It wasn't the greatest thing. So it was just a decent time. So probably mid book. It's fine. But that is another book that I got to check off of my list, which is really cool because I am down to 90 books on my physical TBR. We're doing great. I am having a great time working my way through these books, being very intentional this year about getting down some of these books. I already have my next vlog planned out, and because I've sucked at vlogging, I've actually already started the first one. So stay tuned for that vlog. What books are you reading? Have you read any of these? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.